Welcome to the Alien Probe Podcast. A former military intelligence officer turned whistleblower told House lawmakers that Congress is being kept in the dark about unidentified anomalous phenomena known as UAPs or UFOs, alleging at a hearing that executive branch agencies have withheld information about the mysterious objects for years. David Grusch, who served for 14 years as an intelligence officer in the Air Force and National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, appeared before the House Oversight Committee's National Security Subcommittee alongside two former fighter pilots who had firsthand experience with UAPs. It's Saturday, July 29th. I'm joined today by Korey. Korey, you don't have a nickname. I got a nickname for everybody else. I got MUFON Matt coming on later. We need a cool nickname for you. You didn't want one. We tried to get one in the beginning. You're like, I don't want it. I just want to be Korey. So what's going on with this? I know you're angry.
I'm always angry.
Talk to me. What don't you like about this?
No, it's a good thing. I think overall it's a pot. By the way, it's good to be back. I know it's been a little while since I've been on here.
Yeah. We're supposed to do Bigfoot. We
we will.
We got
will.
Bigfoot one.
I'm waiting for. I think it's season 4 of the Expedition Bigfoot. I don't think that's come out yet, but I think the hearings were. I think it was actually a very positive thing. It's nice seeing bipartisanship. I don't want to play it down at all because it is a big deal. I think It's a very big deal. And I think the public response to it is actually a little bigger than I suspected it would be. But as with any they've done this before, and only time will kind of tell what ends up coming out of it. But who knows what's going to happen.
I'm going to go on to say Grusch served as a representative on 2 Pentagon task forces investigating UAPs until early this year. He told lawmakers that he was informed of a multi-decade UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering program during the course of his work examining classified programs. He said he was denied access to those programs when he requested it, and accused the military of misappropriating funds to shield these operations from congressional oversight. He later said he had interviewed officials who had direct knowledge of aircraft with non-human origins, and that so-called biologics were recovered from some craft. What do you think? What do you do? We have some frozen ETs? Do we have regular extraterrestrials that are walking around? Doesn't it make it? I'm going to kind of throw this out here. Doesn't it make it weird now that we've wondered about all this for our whole lives practically, and now all of a sudden it looks like it might. I'm not going to get too excited about it because I don't know how much they're going to tell us. But isn't it weird to think that it's actually could be real? I know you've always believed.
And this goes back to your first question. We've always suspected this. If you've been involved or been an interest of the topic for a long enough period of time, none of this information is new. Everything that was in that meeting was stuff that it's already out there. So if somebody wants to find the information, Fravor, Graves, all of their testimony, that's been out there for quite some time. Grusch I don't think he really told us anything that we didn't already suspect. I think it gives it a little bit of credibility coming from him. But, I question the timing, or his motivations, why all of a sudden, where did he come from? What was his motivation? Was he, who knows? I don't know the backstory, on what. I know he comes from the perspective of, doing the right thing, or, trying to, open up to the American people that, obviously that these things have been going on. So, it's like, I don't want to downplay it, but like I said, none of this information is new. It's just really what is Congress going to do with it, or the Senate, or what are we going to get from it from this point on?
Yeah, you said you didn't trust him. I think we discussed this throughout different times. And do you look like you know, I don't know. Do you think he's got an ulterior motive? Kind of feels like, what I mean. I never really fully trust these things when they come out, but I mean, this is dangerous of him to come out and go in front of the House and make these statements and and dirt poor Sean Kirkpatrick Romero. So I don't know. What do you
Well, I
think?
mean, go. What's the moniker of the X Files?
Yeah,
Trust no one,
yeah.
right? And that's I think he's legitimate. I think he is who he says he is. Just like Elizondo is. Um, to me, his comfort level is what kind of sticks in the back of my mind. He seems extremely comfortable talking about these things. And for somebody in his position, which I can't even possibly imagine, the life that he's had, and what's going on in his life right now, and the knowledge that he knows that these agencies, the lengths that they're willing to go through to silence people, unless he's just set himself up to where he's untouchable, or that's my only concern with it, basically.
Do you think
um,
maybe he's got some dirt on somebody that he's got in the? Was that you? I talked to so many people about
yeah.
this, and it's. Does he have something in the? He's got on somebody that, or maybe somebody tried to do something to him, take his security away. I mean, they literally had to do an emergency reset of his security clearance to get into Skiff because he didn't. His clearance was gone. Did you know that?
Yeah, they heard that they pulled it, or like right at the last minute. I mean,
Yeah,
that's not suspect.
I don't know. It was
Um,
bizarre.
yeah, I mean, this whole topic is bizarre. I mean, if you're looking for stability and forthrightness and straightforward answers, this is not the topic you want to be involved with,
Yeah.
because you're not going to get any of that. It's really just uh, patience, longevity, and just passion to try to stay on top of these topics. So yeah, I like I said, I think he's legitimate. It's just I hate to say it,
Here it
but
comes.
I think I think it's a little strange. The timing is a little strange, because I think, if I remember, okay, I don't know, I should have looked it up, but I think when he first came around, wasn't that the first round of the Hunter Biden,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
the whatever's going on with him, and and Snowden. I watched something. I'm not a huge Snowden fan, but he obviously had access to a lot of information, and he basically, I think he came out recently and he was talking about just pay attention, and keep your eyes open as to what's really going on. Is this really going on, or is it something that they're trying to deflect from, basically? So that's my only, I mean, they're capable of so many things.
It's
And
nothing to do with the election or anything like that.
yeah,
Trying to
yeah,
deflect.
exactly.
I don't know. Who knows what they're doing? And then I'm friends with Burchett on. I'm friends with everybody. Friends with Burchett on Twitter, and he showed a picture of Hunter Biden with 6 Secret Service cars. He was bitching. He's going, Hunter Biden gets 6, Kennedy gets none.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know.
So it's. I mean, I guess that's I don't know how many. I've never paid attention to how many the kids would have. I mean, but
Yeah. Well, it's post Kennedy, so I mean, they're gonna have more security, but yeah, it's that's only my only thing. I mean, and it's good. I don't want to take the momentum out of it, but like I said, we just gotta keep a open mind, but also just be still be skeptical of it.
members of both parties question how Congress should go about investigating the remarkable allegations, a reflection of the increasing willingness by lawmakers to demand the executive branch be more forthcoming about the phenomena. Burchett says we're going to uncover the cover up. I hope this is the beginning of many more hearings and many more people coming forward about this. I mean, they ended up having, I know I expressed my displeasure about having only the two graves and favor. I was mispronounced. It's favor. It's what is it?
Fravor.
Fravor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Fravor. And I like those two guys, but it's like I'm kind
Hmm.
of tired of the tic tac. I am. I don't want it to
Yeah.
be a tic tac. I want it to be a flying saucer. I, how did it evolve into a
Well,
tic tac?
I mean, suppose they have more. That's the Jeremy Corbell was saying that there's a full. I can't remember if it was the gimbal or it was a Tic Tac, and I'm on the same as you. I'm kind of tired of seeing them,
Yeah,
but supposedly there's a 4-minute version of one of them that is a high res that you can see a lot more detail. So this stuff's out there. I mean, it's been out there for what 80 years, and
yeah,
who knows where it is if they've destroyed it. I mean, I hope they haven't, but
yeah,
something tells me that it's just the way that they go about this topic, and they're just their willingness to just kind of well, I mean, pretty much do whatever they want, so hopefully that evidence is out there. But I think NASA's got tons of footage. I think the CIA's got tons of footage. I think the Air Force has got tons of footage, or photographs, probably documented incidences that have taken place. And even if these hearings, okay, let's say that we do get to a point where, I don't know if it's going to be disclosure, whatever, if they come out and acknowledge something, what are we going to have access to? Because it's just too easy to
yeah.
slap a top secret sticker on top of it. And even if we get a document, how much of it's going to be redacted? I mean, I'm so sick and tired of you see all these FOIA documents, and it looks like, some kid was, just had went in with a black marker and just marked out everything that was on any of those documents. So what are we going to have access to if we even get access to anything? That should be like one of the big,
Well,
really big questions.
the weirdness is, yeah, they've kept it. Depending on who you talk to, it's like, how have they kept this secret for 80 years or whatever? How come we haven't? How come that nobody? People come out and they say they've seen this and they've seen that. So I guess people,
Hmm.
it does get leaked. Because you can't keep a total lid on these things, but there's programs that we've seen all the weird, alien underground in the Antarctic, in the you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's bases
Where
everywhere.
they're everywhere, they're among us,
Yeah,
they're
I
interdimensional.
mean,
But I
so,
mean,
so supposedly there's a maglev train under the
yeah,
United States that goes from Nevada to Utah to Colorado to wherever, and that's conspiratorial thing. But I mean, who knows, man? Uh, yeah, I mean, it's crazy that, like you said, for 80 years, and we were talking about this recently. I think we talk about them, and this above everybody agency that nobody knows about. I personally believe it's the CIA. I think they are solely in control of everything to do with any of this topic. I don't think there's anything outside of them. I think they work in tandem with the private contractors. And this is just my opinion, but I think it is. I think the CIA is fully aware of everything that's going on, and I think that they are fully in control of it. And I think for too long they've had just the ability to run roughshod over all of this and do what they want. And I hope Congress really sinks their teeth into this. And and I'm not saying they shouldn't have their secrets. There's a reason that they're there. We have enemies, we have adversaries, so that they should be doing what they're doing. But also there should be transparency, and especially to this topic. We have a right to know. I know there's a lot of questions about how people are going to react, and what's the world going to do. But I think it's time. I think we've matured enough to at least have those answers. So are we going to get those answers? I don't know.
I don't know, but they're talking about the things that are discussed amongst our community, I should say, is
Mm-hmm.
that people have been hurt, threatened, killed when they talk about if they're going to be able, if they talk about talking about it. about UFOs and where they are and where the ETs are, and is there a, I'm not sold on the CIA. I just think it's almost like it's something else. I don't know what. I mean, and then he's stating, Grusch is stating that the people in control of this which makes, they're in and out of the government. They're civilians and government officials that are in
Hmm.
charge of this whole process of collecting retrieving the crashes and then distributing the crashes amongst the defense contractors. And then the defense contractors, it seems, whatever they find out of it, are selling it back to us.
Right.
So I
With
mean,
markup.
a lot of markup, and then the money. Okay, and then we'll get to the money where the black ops budget. There's a billion. Burchett says, hey, every year there's $1 billion, and he uses B, but he goes at least $1 billion of unaccounted for black money, black
Right.
project money goes unaccounted for, and they don't. The people that are supposed to be overseeing this are like, well, I don't know, it just went, here, and nobody's could have went to you and me. They don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's a paper trail, and I think we talked about if they just shut the faucet off, things would probably be
Hmm.
things would probably come to light fairly quickly. But I don't know really what the answer is. But you know, the the Pentagon's All Domain Anomaly Resolutions Office, which Congress established to investigate the incidents, has investigated roughly 800 reports of UAPs in May, while military officials have said in most cases have innocuous origins. Many other remain unexplained. Lawmakers say the military knows more about the objects that it has disclosed to Congress. I mean, I don't know. They didn't, when they had the hearings, Grusch, he didn't really, well, he kind of dirted Kirkpatrick by saying that before Kirkpatrick took the reins of Arrow, that he discussed these things with Kirkpatrick, and
Hmm.
then discussed all these things. Grusch states, did nothing. He just kind of, he just kind of did nothing. I mean, we heard the hearing that the meeting, I guess it is, that Kirkpatrick had with Gillibrand and the other
Hmm.
congressperson.
And honestly, I mean, to me, those were a joke.
That's
To
a
me.
zero. And Kirkpatrick is a joke, I think, I say. Well, he's a CIA.
Yeah.
You're the one that coined the phrase CIA stooge, which I use in many Twitters and Twitter and
Oh yeah, yeah. I got
Facebook.
that from somewhere. I
Oh,
can't
you
take
gotta take
credit.
dude. You gotta take.
No, that's been around for a long time.
I'll claim it.
but
And
those hearings were those did nothing for me. I mean they were, to me, that was no
it
different
was a
than back
zero.
in the 1950s where they were doing the same
Yeah,
thing, and it was just like,
I don't
okay, we're
know.
just going to do this to to shut you up.
Yeah,
And so that's how I walked away with it. These were different. And my what's kind of surprising to me is some of the old guard, the like Richard Dolan. He's talking about, he was actually very positive about these hearings, which kind of surprised me, because knowing his, he's a history guy, and knowing, what he knows about history and what's taken place before, he was actually surprisingly very positive about this experience. So, you know, I,
I was a
yeah,
little.
yeah,
Yeah, I was a little
okay.
disappointed. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, well, here, okay, here's the pissed off part. All
God, here
right. So,
comes.
and this
Good.
is, yeah, no, I mean, this is, okay. So if you've been following this subject, I'm a pretty, this is just I don't have any skin in the game. I haven't written any books. I don't have a podcast or anything, but for probably, 40 years or so, I've been reading books and looking into this, and it's just been a hobby. And the information is out there. Um, we know, or at least we suspect. I don't want to say no because that's a little bit definitive, but the this stuff has been going on for so long, and I know there's photographic evidence. The bodies and everything that's up for debate, but people have seen things. You can go on the internet and see ungod amounts of like videos and things like that. So we know it's out there, right? So the fact that we're coming from the pinpoint of like, well, let's just we're trying to confirm it. We know what's going on, right? So I don't know where I was going with that, and I
No,
apologize,
that's
but
okay. But
it's
I'm going to get back to the witnesses again.
yeah, okay.
The so they got the two fighter pilots, you know, Fravor
Hmm.
and Graves, and we've heard they've been beat. I mean, Graves, that guy's all over the place. So everybody knows about that. Grusch is, for those who don't know, he did a interview, at least one interview on News Nation with Coulter. Is it Ross? What's that guy's name? The
Yeah,
Ross Coulter.
Coulter, yeah.
And you get much, much, much more information. If you've watched the hearings, you haven't heard anything really from Grush. But if you want to hear
Right.
what he really knows, well, not really everything that he knows, but if you want to, I mean, he's very adamant about a lot of, and what's weird is he could say that on News Nation, all those things, but he gets to Congress and wasn't as animated, and he wasn't as, I wonder if he was like, keep it to, I don't know, it would have been better if he would have explained everything that he, just like he did at News Nation, but it was somehow toned down. And I can't say this because of this and that. And he didn't say anything on, you know, on News Nation, I think, that he wasn't supposed to. But it's like, why, if he could do it
Hmm.
on the public, you know, and why News Nation? Okay, let's get to that now. Why is it released on News Nation and not? What I heard is the time he was is supposed to be went to the Times, because one of the bitches I have about all this is mainstream media doesn't cover this. I mean, you don't turn on. It may happen because it's still this week, but you can't turn on 60 Minutes or whatever and have this story come out. It's like, I don't know. It's
Yeah,
bizarre.
but I've seen little clips like here and there on NBC and places
So
like that.
minor though. They
Um,
treat it like it's nothing.
yeah, but why? Okay, so we recently know, that Elon Musk released those documents stating that the the CIA, the FBI were working with Twitter and who knows how many other legacy news agencies to control information. So we know that they're doing that. So why would these people that have the golden goose, they got the foot in the door to work with these agencies? Why would they cover something that could potentially cause a rift between them and whoever they get their information from? They're going to lose their press their press spot in the White House,
Yeah.
or why are they going to put that at risk? So I think News Nation is just I think it's an alternative, newer media that's come out that probably doesn't have, and who knows if they're a subsidiary of anybody, but
They're
they
like the old
probably don't have.
WGN or something.
Yeah,
Remember
I
that?
mean, what FBI, CIA, NBC, CBS, like what's the difference? I mean,
The alphabet
you
soup.
know, alphabet soup agencies that, and they call them the legacy media for a reason. It's legacy. It's like they've been around for so long.
Yeah.
So yeah, why would they cover it? That, I mean, that's how I feel about it. And I think Ross Coulter's kind of been. I think he's out of Australia. I don't know if he lives there. I think he might be in the U.S. possibly, but he's been doing this for quite some time. But I think News Nation is just one of those. There's a couple of them that have come out. I can't remember one. There was another one that was when the elections were going on. It was like an alternative to Fox,
Yeah.
that they had going. So that's why I think they're doing. I don't think the other, if something big were to happen, I think they would probably at that point probably have to come up and say something, But
If you mean if we saw an alien or a spaceship.
or if they just come out and say, yeah, this is real,
You're,
here's a photograph, or
yeah.
but no, I guarantee they are towing the line just like they do with everything, whether it's any politics that are going on or anything like that. I don't trust them. I've never trusted them. You know, I like my alternative media sources on, YouTube and things like that.
Yeah.
And they're in, and you got to question all that too. I mean, anybody can get on there and say whatever
Yeah.
they want to say. I mean, I'm sure I'm misquoting all kinds of stuff during this,
Yeah.
conversation, but
That's where I get a lot of
ultimately,
my
but
information too. But I mean, like
yeah, yeah,
our opinions, people can get on here. Hey,
yeah,
don't listen to
I
me.
don't,
I don't know.
yeah, I have no interest in watching that. I mean, I'll watch some of, like, I was watching Jeremy Corbell was on an NBC. He did like a little 10-minute, where he's talking about it. But
Did you see Corbell and Knapp during the interview at
yeah,
the House
Knapp
interview?
looked yeah, he looked like he was going to jump out of his seat.
Yeah, he was all excited.
Yeah, and good for him, because I mean he's
Yeah.
been doing this a long time. He's really stayed the course, and so I'm glad that it was nice to see them there. Because I think, when in 2017, when everything came out, they kind of pushed him to the side because they wanted to keep you know the stigma part out of the narrative,
Right.
basically. So yeah. um and I think just overall, I think a lot of this is it's starting to come out of the conspiratorial, tinfoil hat, kind of, box of, this is, usually this is where this information comes from. So yeah.
I don't know. I was a little disappointed because there was supposed to be, I thought, 6 witnesses. Now, there was one witness that I know. He was a defense contractor executive, according to Burchett, and he pulled out.
Hmm.
He was going to
Yeah.
speak, and he, at the last minute, pulled out. I don't know who else they have, but when I saw the lineup, it's like, well, I've already heard from all 3 of these guys. They're not going to
Yeah.
tell me anything that I don't already know. But he's the other thing to mention. I'm sure everybody that listens to this already knows this, but we'll say it. After the meeting, he kept stating that after meeting in the skiff, and you know what a skiff is? It's like a box that you put your phone and your iPhone and your phone and or excuse me, your iPhone and your Apple Watch and whatever communication
Yeah.
device you have in a box, and then you go in this thing that looks like a Connex container, and it's soundproof, and you go in there, and then I'm assuming they can write. I don't. If you can't have any devices, I don't know how you record anything, or if you can just write it. I don't know. After that, I don't know who was. Did you hear anything about who he was talking to in the skiff? Because Burchett and what was the girl's
Luna.
Luna were not
Yeah.
admitted because they didn't have. I don't know if it's a
The
high enough security.
clearance. I think it's the top secret clearance, I think,
Well, we
to
always say,
to
why can't they see anything? Because they are overseeing this and overseeing that. So
top secret.
it's
You
top
literally, top
of a
secret
top
solves all
secret.
your problems. Yeah, I mean, I wish I could just put the word top secret on everything and it'll just go away.
They
Or, you know what I mean?
they went to
That,
Eglin Air Force. Luna and Burchett went before this. Went to Eglin Air Force Base in Florida, and allegedly there was documents, pictures, and they had a couple pilots that were want to be whistleblowers, and they were supposed to go
hmm.
down there, and they were supposed to interview the pilots. They were supposed to see the evidence. They go into the meeting. Halfway through the meeting, they realize there's no discussion. It's just some nonsense. They're not discussing anything about UFOs. They say, where's the UFO stuff? And they say, this general that's down there says, you're not, can't see it. You're not going to be able to see it. So
Yeah.
they call the Pentagon, and the Pentagon, there's this back and forth. There was actually an interaction between them and the general that was heated, pretty heated. And the general, like I've talked to you before, I was in the military, and if a person that's not in the military tries to tell me, I mean, I know, knows the House and the Senate and all this, but I wouldn't care either. It's like I answer to the president, and this information is for us, and you're going to have to do better than just walking in here. And but the Pentagon's. I'm trying to peel the. It's hard to peel the onion back. I mean, is there somebody in the Pentagon? There's got to be, and I've talked about this before. Who is the guy that says you can't get in? And why can't we go to that guy and go, why can't we get in? Because you don't have a high enough security clearance. I don't know whatever it may be. I don't know. But coming out, you saw the letter that Burchett and Luna. I sent that to you, didn't
Hmm.
I?
Yeah.
So, do you think that? I mean, in a nutshell, they want a special investigative um, committee or something to oversee. Outside that is higher than anything. That can look at anything and see anything. And do you think we're going to be able to get that done?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they could. Yeah. They've got. I mean,
But
they could set up as many.
if they do
As
that, I
many.
know this is another. It's like another
Yeah.
freaking
I mean, okay. So
OSAP
more
ATIP.
bureaucracy,
Yeah,
right?
but it's like the one that's here, like Arrow or whoever. We just keep making new agencies. It kind of cracks me up. They keep kicking the can down the road, and they shut. It's NASA. The other thing was NASA. NASA didn't come to the hearing. They were invited and they didn't come. They pulled out. I think they pulled out too. They had someone there and they decided they didn't want to do it. So, but
Yeah.
these
I don't think you're going to get much from NASA. They're, they're
they're
so
government
heavily,
funded, so
yeah, they're so
they're
heavily, yeah,
basically the
relying on
Pentagon.
the, yeah, exactly. So I don't think, and they have evidence. I mean, they've been doctoring photographs and video footage for 60 years. I mean, so it doesn't surprise me that they were there. Supposedly they're supposedly looking into it. And I really think that committee. I think this needs to be, and I don't know how they would do it. Um, it needs to be civilian oversight. I don't think the military should be involved. I think that they can subpoena military personnel or whatever, but I think really that's a big part of the problem because the military has just been at the forefront of this for pretty much since the beginning. But I think that committee is a step in the right direction. It's just like with anything, how much teeth is it going to have? Are they really going to have the ability to do anything? Because just like I don't know if just driving down to an Air Force base and asking to talk to somebody is probably the best way to go about doing it. You probably have to set that up ahead of time. I don't know if they did that because I don't know the details of it, but
Well, we're
there's going to have to be some,
well.
somebody.
Yeah, I'm trying to like Grush has all the not all the names. He has the key. He has the players allegedly, according to him. He's got the names. He's got the places where the ETs are. He's got the places where the UFOs are.
Mhm.
That's what he's going to give out. Now, if you start with that, if I'm these guys that want to put this together, then once Grush comes out with this, I have the names. I mean, I'm just looking at this about how I would approach it. I have the names. You request access, and okay, they want to have higher access than basically anybody but the president or what? And the president doesn't even factor into this, but um, so they should have access to everything. So if there's somebody telling them they can't see something, who's that guy? You know what I mean? And like,
It's the Pentagon.
but they're requesting access where you see what the thing said. They want what it's saying is nobody gets to tell us no. Nobody. If we have the
Yeah.
name, we're talking to you, and you're going to be subpoenaed. You know what I mean? And you're going to go to
Yeah,
jail if you
and
don't
they're
do what
going to
we
have
tell
to
you.
have they're going to have that power somehow to do that. And I don't know where that's going to come from because like you said, it's like we don't even know who's pulling the strings. We just don't know. So yeah, I think the we talked about this so many times, but it's they need to go after their money. Like
Yeah,
I don't know how they would do it, but they need to go after the money to
yeah,
where they're going. That's because the only way these people are able to do what they do is because of money, because they have funding. They obviously have unlimited funding.
yeah,
They obviously have $1 billion, overage of funding a year to do whatever they want to do. So it really is going to come down to like I said, we're going to need people like Schumer and some of the ones that have been around for a
yeah.
while. But and then I also question, like, how how connected are they to, what's going on? Like, what, are they compromised? Are they receiving any funding or anything? I mean, they couldn't even get the skiff done, right? I mean, that wasn't even,
I don't even know if they did it. I mean, who did they talk to if they didn't
I
talk
don't,
to the people that put this together? The
yeah,
guy, the chairman, or like the chairman, and he was interested too. He was all I read. He read Flying Saucers Are Serious Business by I think it's Hynek.
hmm
And this guy was. I thought he'd be some, you know, like we say stooge, but he whether or not he's going to be able to do anything with this, I think he's a guy like us who says, "Hey, I want to see this. I need to get this done because because he's old, before I
yeah,
die, I want to see
I
one
want
of
to
those
know.
things. My country has it, and
I
I
mean,
want to see it."
legally, they have the power. I mean,
Well, they
they have
got the
power. So,
names. They put some subpoenas together and go, okay, we need to talk to you because you're hiding. You've got money, and the whole thing is like you said, it's money. And what's
yeah.
happening, according to Grusch, is the money goes in, and then there's the name he had, and I didn't write it down, but it goes in, and then it goes into another type of fund, and it's literally laundered, and it goes, and what they said was the money doesn't go
hmm
to the places, even the stuff they know about. It doesn't even go to what they say it's going to. It goes to whatever this thing is, or
Well, and
whatever.
that's not just them. That's just government.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
that's
that's
just they,
typical. I mean, but I don't.
yeah, that's
I only want to talk about the UFO part of it.
right, right.
That's,
But I'm just
you
saying
know,
that they have the playbook is there,
yeah,
right? So they've been doing this for however long. But yeah, it's
they're making it too complicated. If I was Burchett, if we can get this done, you say it can be done. I'm gonna take you to
mhm.
your word, Korey. I want to see it done.
Well,
So
okay. So let's say they get that committee and they do
yeah.
subpoenas. That how are you going to force somebody to talk?
Well, it's
Because
subpoena. You're
they've
going.
done this before. They've brought people out and they've questioned them. They don't have to say anything.
Yeah.
They
They
can
can just
invoke
look
their
their
Fifth
Fifth
Amendment right
Amendment.
or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't
That's, I
talk about
mean,
that. But that does that apply to? And I like Greer's idea of making the RICO Act. I don't know if they're going to get that done, but it's like, we know you've been involved with. We have the proof. You're just on
yeah.
trial because you're hiding. You're misappropriating funds in the federal
hmm
government. It's a crime.
It is a
Okay,
crime. Yeah.
go ahead and shut up all you want, but you're going to jail. We know you're involved. We have witnesses and we have a paper trail. Maybe they don't have a paper trail, but who knows? I don't know how that works. I know how it works in corporate America. I've done that for 40 years, and I know that you can't be 10 cents off on your frickin' travel and expense report, or they'll kick it back. And
hmm
like Grush even talked about his expense report, or if you have over $600 and this or that, and, yes, they've got people overseeing that, but you have $1 billion, like Burchett
Yeah.
says, and they question nothing. It's
But we
ridiculous. I'm
can't
getting
print money
mad now
either.
too.
Yeah, we can't print our own money either.
Yeah,
So we're at a disadvantage there. But
yeah.
yeah, the committee, I think it's a step in the right direction. But like I said, they don't have to, no, they can't force anybody to say anything that they don't want to talk about. And that's really just the backlash. I mean, what is, if these people are doing what he alleges that they've been doing, then yeah, I don't know how you can overcome that, to be honest.
Believe they in typical government they make all this muddy water, gray area, red tape. You can all the things that apply to the government, and
hmm
it literally has to, something has to happen. I mean, but like you mentioned about bipartisanship, I was the most excited about that because it
hmm
brings me back to the Reagan. Remember the Reagan statement where he said if an alien threat, he literally stated if there was an alien threat that it would bring the world together. I mean, I don't know if we can bring the
hmm
world together because this world's kind of jacked up, but there's going to be certain people in the world. But like you said, every nation has got this, right? Everybody's got everybody's got crash retrieval stuff.
Supposedly, yeah. I
But I
mean,
mean, they just can't fly. Well, they're stating that some of them landed. Maybe they had mechanical difficulty. landed.
or shot down. Some of them talk about. I mean, I wouldn't think that we could shoot one down, but yeah, it's. But you're right. I mean, where they supposedly they're crashing all over the place. I mean, one would just crash in the middle of a
Yeah.
city.
Well, they never crash like we talk about all the time. They never crash anywhere where not in my front yard.
Right. Yeah.
They're always in
I
the
can't
middle
even
of the desert.
I can't even see one that hasn't crashed.
I know. I talk about it.
I don't know what I'm doing wrong,
Last
Doug. I
weekend
really
on the
don't,
me
because
neither. Last weekend with Matt, and we were talking. We had a guest, Sarah, and it's the same
hmm
thing. I mentioned I I I look up in the sky all the time. I know you're hanging out in the backyard in the evenings and you're
yeah,
looking.
I'll,
Hope
I'll
against
give it. I
hope.
mean, I got beer. I mean,
Yeah, I know
I,
whatever you
I
need. And
yeah,
it's like the Las Vegas thing. That thing kind of fizzled. That was all exciting. It's weird because it was all exciting. What happened to that ship? They were trying to escape by getting in farm machinery, and they have the aliens and I
yeah.
shouldn't
That
say
was a weird.
aliens,
That
the
was a. I
extraterrestrials.
just don't. I don't think any more information came out after that.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
that's a typical. I mean, look at that entire story, and that's what you've been dealing with for 100 years basically, or even beyond that. Past beyond that.
but
I
did
mean,
crash retrieval get the ship? And it's
it
like
sounds like it just took off. Like they were
it
working
just
on it.
left. They were working on it. I
Yeah,
just picture
I
these
mean,
mechanics, alien
yeah, but
mechanics.
but we saw the. I mean, that one just got weirder and weirder. You had the initial video that came out that you just kept saying they could kind of see him like sitting there, and it was kind of distorted a little bit. And then there was the one that came out after that that had the hand sticking through the fence right next to the guy, and I'm just like, my God, man, this is just getting weirder and weirder.
Yeah,
And then it just
yeah.
disappeared after that. So I don't know. That's
I don't know.
um,
It's yeah, that one did get bizarre. But back to current events, all these. So in addition, so they had Graves and Fravor, and their Tic Tac. Graver and Fravor said that they actually shut down their. He mentioned the style of radar they were using. And he mentioned that they shut down their. They actually shut down their radar, not in his plane, but another. It was reported in another one. And he gets back to the ship. Their whole and really we can't ignore what's really driving this, and they're worried about or what they're hanging their hat on is navigation. A problem with navigation was this thing going to eventually just hit somebody. Eventually crash into.
mhm.
They haven't. They may have done it. We've talked about different incidents where that may have happened, but they're worried about them running into a commercial airliner or you know um,
Mm-hmm.
something of that nature.
Yeah, and
So
that's legitimate. I mean, I even the movie Close Encounters. My favorite scene in that whole movie is where the air traffic controller is talking to the two pilots, and they're trying to keep a collision from occurring.
right,
And then this thing goes right by, and you can actually hear it, the distortion as it goes by the craft, and that's actually been documented over a long period. There's the one
right,
the Japan Airlines in Alaska. That was a famous one where that thing supposedly kind of pulled the aircraft over a little bit, or affected it somehow magnetically. Yeah, that's and that's, I think, one of the things they need to really focus on. And I think that was where originally the Elizondo and the Academy to the Stars, that's where they were coming from, was the threat to civilian aircraft, or just civilians in general, because there's negative negative effects from the people who have come in contact with some of these craft. Um,
yeah. They don't want to.
so
That's their concern. That it's gonna,
yeah,
and that we
but
can't ignore that. That's a major part of this. I mean, we love our aliens and flying saucers, but
yeah, but the
that's
double-edged side, the other side of the coin to that is that then the military would have to admit that they don't have control over the skies,
yeah.
and that's a big deal,
Well,
because that's their entire purpose, is to protect us from you know
death from
threats of
above.
other. Yeah, so if they and I think that's a big part of it, is that they don't want to admit
Yeah.
that they don't control the skies, and that's unfortunate, but it's, yeah.
Well, that's what Fravor and Graves are saying. We don't. we don't have any control over these things. These things are
Yeah.
they're shooting down in seconds from hundreds of thousands of feet down into and then hitting and then literally entering the water. And what they saw was something large, and they also saw Fravor said something was large in the water disturbance. It didn't take off out of the water, but it's almost like it was
Hmm.
something else, which you try to piece this information together. But um, from his perspective, but and he's saying there's a reporting. That's the other thing. The reporting, I can't imagine. It's kind of like business, It's they can't. I can't imagine. There's no reporting. There's no. He says he was a wing commander, and he says there's no. The chairman asked him, or Burchett asked him, "Oh, did you report it to your superior?" He goes, "Well, I'm the wing commander. I'm the one." Okay, well, didn't you? If I was there, I said, "Cool, so did you try to report it to someone else, or are you not? Were you concerned?" They were all
Yeah.
laughing. The pilots were kind of just joking about it. That's really the only communication. And Fravor came out. Somebody got him to come out later. I don't know
Hmm.
if it was Corbell or whoever. And
He so
go
yeah,
ahead.
the radar operator, if I remember correctly, in an interview he did, he said that somebody showed up. They came on a helicopter to the aircraft carrier and collected the material. And I'll
Oh,
have to check on that to verify that. But he did say somebody said that they look civilian, and he said that they came and collected all of that. I don't know if they debriefed anybody. I can't remember if that was part of it. That guy was freaked out. It's
yeah,
and maybe this is just a testament to their training. I mean, they're up there. They got to be cool. They got to be, calm. But the radar guy was really freaked out about that. That was the I think on the one on the West Coast.
was it the ship radar guy or his rear?
Yeah, yeah, he's the
Yeah,
one that they were talking about going back to the cap point, and then the
yeah.
craft, all of it, shot over to the cap point, and that's what freaked him out. And he was like like the interview that I saw, he's very emotional about it. So, Fravor and Graves seems a little more. Fravor's kind of just, I mean, Fravor's just a badass dude. That guy's like
Yeah,
Maverick. I mean,
yeah.
he was Top Gun graduate and flight commander. So but yeah, Graves seems a little more because Graves actually has a podcast that he does, and I actually listened to one of them where he interviewed a commercial pilot that was talking about his experiences. So, yeah, that's a legitimate thing, and I think that's something they need to focus on. Really, to there's things that they can do if they that they can get I think get the public more on board. Even though I think that the response to this has been pretty positive. I don't know if you heard that there was like a line of people trying to get into the hearings, which I don't know if that's normal. It probably is, but it surprised me that there was that many people trying to get in there. So hopefully this will get some momentum and keep and stay on the radar, which I suspect it will. I just don't know. I don't want to get too excited about it.
Well, we watch, and that's the thing we watch. But
Yeah.
yeah, the navigation thing's pretty huge. I mean, it's funny because Fravor kind of looks a little nerdy to me. I mean, he doesn't look like Tom
Tom Cruise.
Cruise. But he's about, you hear him talk, he's like, yeah, this guy knows his stuff, and
Hmm.
he's no chump. But the military's kind of like a company, nobody, well, who do we report to? I don't know. There isn't anybody. Okay, they go on their merry way and nobody says anything. So they literally, there wasn't anything here to force them in place. And I don't know if it's any better now. They got the whistleblower thing where, but is that part of, or do we have, are they on board with the reporting in the military and in the civilian? I heard that, they're encouraging it, but there's still that stigma. I mean, you and I talk to people. Well, maybe not as much you, but I talk to people all the time about whether or not they believe that this is possible, that we have
Hmm.
there could be extraterrestrials, or have been, or there could be UAPs, or have been, and most of the response, not most, but about, actually it's less and less where people say, oh, the universe is a big place and
Hmm.
there's probably something out there. And then there's the people who go, yeah, I've heard so many things over the years that there's got to be some truth to it, but why can't we see them? How can they keep it this secret where nobody? well, until now, nobody's coming out and saying that. Well, with the exception of your pal Lazar. I know,
Yeah. Oh,
um,
my pal Lazar.
yeah, he's your pal. He's not mine. He's not. I'm not buying. This sounds like his story could be with the advent of this. It sounds like his story could be more true, but I don't think Lazar saw as much as he says he has. I think he
Yeah.
like
It's
we go back and forth all the time about
yeah, I mean it's open for debate.
it.
I think, that's my opinion. And even with this whole phenomenon, I'm still there's a percentage of me that might think it's all BS.
Yeah.
That's always lingering in the back of my head. Lazar, same thing. I think, he's there's just things that he said, and I'm not talking about the things that he said 30 years ago. Um, like the I know you probably don't want to get into it, but the element 115.
Yeah.
I watched a video about, it was a physicist was talking about, it wasn't until he heard Lazar talking about that element that they started looking into the possibility of that element. And then he started looking into what would have to occur for that element to exist. And he talked about, multiple suns throughout, billions of years having to basically go through the process of, being born, dying, being born, dying. And then, you get to a point and you get a galaxy that's so old, then that something like that could develop. So it's little things like that, that tell me that, and it's a random thing. And, but yeah, you're right. He could be my buddy. That's fine. That's fine.
You
I
have some
got I got
beer.
a poster. He signed a poster for me. I don't
No
know if he
way.
really.
Oh,
I don't know if
you
he.
got an
Yeah, I don't know if it
autograph?
was. Yeah, I don't know if it was really him, but
Did you
you
order
can
it?
pay for him to do
Order it
that.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a whole. Everybody's like, he's not making any money on this. He's got a whole. Yeah, I think you told me he's got a whole like a online
Yeah.
store where you can get
United Nuclear. Yeah.
But you can get coffee cups and
You can
T-shirts.
buy uranium from him, or
Yeah,
you can buy like glowing uranium, like in a little vial from
I
him.
never. They lost my shipment of what's the metal?
Oh, your nitinol.
Nitinol. They literally lost it, which
Yeah, I'm
is
sure
kind
they
of
did.
it's weird. It's weird that they would lose that. It's like, and I ordered like a tiny sheet of it, like a
Hmm.
size of your cell phone, and it's real thin, and it was like $40. And then Debbie goes to cancel it on Amazon, and it's a third-party seller, so it's a problem, you know. So
Hmm.
I'm gonna order it again, though. I said I'm ordering, I'm ordering it again. I'm gonna find it, but
Well, and then
different
where was it? Where
companies.
was it coming from? China?
I
I
don't
mean, why
know.
does
I didn't
China
even.
have?
I assumed it was somewhere, stateside.
Yeah.
But
No, I mean most of the stuff I get comes from Asia. The third party stuff comes like Asia somewhere. But why would that be coming from a country that something that was supposedly reverse engineered from Roswell material come from
well,
some
we
company
make
in
it. I mean, it's not an uncommon. Well, I shouldn't say it's uncommon, but I know it's used for like um, heart
heart
surgeries,
valves
heart
and stuff like
valves, and
that.
a lot of
Yeah.
different, little parts. I mean, it's fairly common
Yeah.
where you or I could buy it. It's that common, but it's just so weird that they lost my shipment of it.
Yeah,
I
I don't think
just
it's
thought,
weird.
I just think it's highly unusual that should
Yeah,
happen.
I don't think that's weird.
I also order. Does this come up on your Facebook? The creature from the Black Lagoon. You or not Facebook? I don't know if it's Facebook. I don't know. It comes up and there's a mold, and it's got you can put it on your wall, and it's got the creature. It looks pretty. It's pretty detailed. I
Oh,
ordered.
really?
I ordered that. I'll let you
Oh,
check it
okay.
out maybe they'll lose that too. I think that's coming from overseas.
Yeah.
But it's more. Debbie just gets more disappointed all the time because
Yeah.
I'm always ordering something online, and you know.
It's not just you. You can see it in my background.
I know
I've
I
got, and
like it.
this is just I've got boxes in my closet of stuff. Actually, this is just the portion of it. My room is just too small. I need a
Well,
bigger office.
you got a big house, spread out. Do it in your living
Yeah.
room.
Um, so one more, we'll just touch on. I don't know how much more
Yeah,
time we got.
yeah.
One of the things I thought was interesting that he brought up during the hearing was when they were asking him about the interdimensional aspect of, or pertaining to these UAPs. What did you think about that part?
I'm all about two things: interdimensional. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
possible, and I think that would explain totally because our radar doesn't seem to be able to track it from point A, one point to the next. And with radar, you should be able to hand off. I think this is what NORAD may do: is they hand off from one satellite to the next if they're tracking something across the world.
Mm-hmm.
They can't seem to do that with these for some reason, so they don't know where they're coming from or where they're going. And I think interdimensional is quite a possibility.
Yeah.
I can't end the show without. It's also possible that these are us from the future.
Yeah.
These
Tempestrials or
extra
whatever. Yeah.
tempestrials. I know you're not a fan.
I
You can
mean,
be a hater.
honestly,
It's okay.
I mean, the reason I brought that up because it's very interesting because, we've talked about it before. That's like one of the theories with these things, but there's a and this is something I think that also should be, the JWST,
The James Webb
telescope,
Telescope. Yeah.
James Webb, yeah, that thing is finding all kinds of crazy stuff right now. In fact, it's rewriting, history of physics. They're now talking about, they found these younger galaxies that existed towards the end of the universe, and they think that they're another universe that's outside of our universe.
Oh wow.
I saw, yeah, and the reason I'm bringing this up is there's another one they were talking about black holes, and um, it related to some of the physics that they were talking about as far as AV Loeb went a little bit more into detail about what Grusch was saying about it, talking about the interdimensionality of it. So there's a lot of stuff going on that's kind of tying into to each other. So I think this topic is tying into other things that we're starting to learn about the universe. So your extra tempestrial theory um, just got a lot more plausible
Yeah.
based on some information that they just found from the JWST. So because they were talking about it was crazy. I can't even repeat it. I'm not a physicist, but it was, they were talking about it, inside of a black hole, things are different than we think they are. Not only that, but there's like these other other dimensions that exist in black holes that are on like a fifth dimensional curve of a you know
Wow.
sixth dimension or something crazy. Yeah, so it's very interesting. But I thought when they brought that up, I wish he would have elaborated a little bit more on that, and I think he probably will with the skiff meeting or something like that. But I'm glad that they did bring that up because it is something that I think needs to be at least explored more,
All right.
because I think it would explain
Absolutely.
a lot more about their about the way that they interact and things like that with our our universe or whatever. So
Cool.
yeah,
We're gonna wrap it up, sir.
all right,
Thanks for listening to the latest episode of the Alien Probe Podcast. Welcome comments, questions, or requests to alienprobepodcast@gmail.com. Visit us on Facebook. Check out our website, alienprobe.net, has all our episodes on there. Twitter and Instagram at Alien Probe Pod. Like and subscribe, Alien Probe Podcast on YouTube. Thanks, Korey, for joining me, and watch the skies.